I was standing in the kitchen cutting vegetables when my wife of 6 years came downstairs in that black dress. You know the one I'm talking about. The dress that says effort was made. The dress that means someone's being impressed tonight. Her makeup was flawless, hair styled perfectly, and she wore that expensive perfume I'd bought her last Christmas. The one she said she was saving for special occasions. Apparently, going clubbing with Aaron qualified as special. I didn't say anything at first, just kept my eyes on the cutting board, trying to push down the tightness building in my chest. This was the third Friday in a row. 3 weekends where I'd be eating dinner alone while she went out with her work best friend. Again. You're really going out again? The words came out tired, not angry, just exhausted. She stopped halfway to the door and turned to face me. The look in her eyes was something I'd never seen before. Cold, detached, like I was some annoying obstacle between her and the night she'd been planning all week. Yes, I'm going out. It's Friday night. I work hard all week, and I deserve to have fun. With Aaron. With Aaron and other people from work. It's not a crime to have friends. I put the knife down slowly, carefully. It's not about having friends. It's about respect. It's about priorities. It's about... If you honestly don't like how I live my life, she interrupted, her voice sharp and deliberate, then just leave. The kitchen went silent, except for the faucet I'd forgotten to turn off. Water running into the sink, filling the empty space between us. She grabbed her purse, checked her phone, and headed for the door without looking back. I'll be back late. Don't wait up. The door closed. Her car started. Taillights disappeared down the street. I stood there for maybe 5 minutes, just processing. Not the words themselves, but the way she'd said them. The complete dismissal. The utter lack of concern for how I felt or what this was doing to us. Like I was already gone in her mind. And my physical presence was just an inconvenience she was willing to tolerate until I figured it out myself. If you don't like how I live my life, then just leave. Okay. Looking back now, I can see the signs were there long before that night. We'd been married for 6 years, and for the first few, things were good. Not perfect, but solid. We had routines, we had plans. We talked about buying a house someday, maybe having kids when we were ready. Normal couple stuff. Then around year 4, something shifted. She got that new job at the consulting firm downtown. Better pay, better title, new environment. I was happy for her. Really. She deserved the opportunity. But with the new job came new friends, new social circles, new priorities. She started going out more, started coming home later, started living a life that felt increasingly separate from mine. That's when Aaron entered the picture. At first, he was just a name. Aaron said this funny thing at lunch today. Aaron and I stayed late working on that project. Normal work friend stuff. I didn't think much of it. People need friends outside their marriage. I had mine. She could have hers. But then it became constant. Aaron this, Aaron that. They'd grab lunch together multiple times a week. They'd text throughout the evening. They'd make plans for after-work drinks that would stretch into late-night outings at clubs I'd never even heard of. And every time I mentioned that maybe their friendship felt inappropriate, that maybe there should be some boundaries, she'd shut me down immediately. You're being insecure. You don't understand modern friendships. You're stuck in some outdated mindset. Maybe I was. Or maybe I just recognized what I was looking at, and she didn't want to admit it. The night everything changed, I walked upstairs after she left and opened the closet. My side was organized and sparse. Her side overflowed with clothes and shoes and bags she'd accumulated over the past 2 years. Visual proof of how our lives had diverged. I pulled out my phone and made 3 calls. First to Wesley, my buddy from college. "Hey man, need a huge favor. Can you come over with your truck in about an hour? I'll explain when you get here." Second to my brother Jack. "I'm leaving her tonight. Can you help me move some stuff?" Third to Leonard, another friend who owed me for helping him move last year. Calling in that favor. I need muscle, and I need it fast. Then I started packing. 6 years of marriage. 6 years of shared space, shared belongings, shared life. I'd thought about this moment before in abstract terms, the way you think about unlikely scenarios that probably won't happen. But now that it was actually happening, I felt this strange calm wash over me. No anger, no sadness, just absolute clarity. I grabbed my suitcases from the garage and started with clothes, then personal items, documents from the file cabinet, my laptop, the tools in the garage that were actually mine, the signed baseball from my grandfather, photos of my family where she wasn't in them. Every single thing I took was unquestionably, individually mine. Everything else, I left. The furniture, hers. The dishes, hers. The TV we'd bought together, she could have it. The expensive coffee maker didn't care. I only took what defined me before her, and what I'd need to rebuild after her. Wesley showed up first. He took one look at my face and just said, "Where do you want me to start?" That's a good friend. No questions, no judgment, just action. Jack arrived 20 minutes later with Leonard. We worked like a military operation. Organized, efficient, quiet. The only time anyone spoke was to coordinate who was carrying what or where things should go in the trucks. Around midnight, Jack finally asked, "You're sure about this?" I looked at him directly. "She told me if I didn't like her life, I should leave. I'm just doing what she suggested." He nodded once. Fair enough. By 2:30 in the morning, my truck and Wesley's truck were loaded. I went back inside one last time to make sure I hadn't forgotten anything important. The bedroom closet told the whole story, her side overflowing with evidence of her new life. My side completely empty, just bare hangers and vacant shelves. I went downstairs and pulled out a piece of paper. Kept the note simple. Put it on the kitchen counter where she'd see it immediately when she got home. "You're right, I don't like it." So I left. Then I took off my wedding ring and placed it next to the note. The metal made a small clicking sound against the countertop that seemed impossibly loud in the silent house. I locked the door from inside, walked out through the garage, and pulled the garage door closed behind me for the last time. Wesley was waiting in his truck. "Where to?" "Your place, if that's still cool. I'll figure out permanent arrangements this week." "Stay as long as you need, brother." I followed his taillights through empty streets at 3 in the morning. My phone was still on, but I'd already decided I wouldn't answer it. Not tonight, not tomorrow, maybe not ever. She wanted her life. She could have it, all of it, without me in it. The clock in my truck read 3:14 when I pulled into Wesley's driveway. I grabbed one suitcase and left the rest for tomorrow. Inside, I finally let myself check my phone. No calls, no texts. She probably wasn't even home yet. I set an alarm for 8 in the morning. I had a lot to do tomorrow. Bank accounts to separate, utilities to cancel, address to change, lawyer to call. But tonight, I just went to sleep. And for the first time in months, I actually slept through the night. I woke up at 7:53, 3 minutes before my alarm. My body felt different. Lighter somehow, like I'd been carrying weight I didn't even know was there until it was gone. Wesley was already up, coffee brewing. He handed me a mug without a word and sat down across from me at his kitchen table. "So," he said, "what's the plan?" I pulled out my phone. Still nothing from her. It was almost 8 in the morning. She should have been home hours ago. "Bank opens at 9. I need to move my paycheck to a new account. Then I'm calling that lawyer Sienna recommended when she got divorced last year." Wesley nodded. "Smart. You got all your important documents?" "Everything. Birth certificate, passport, tax returns, vehicle title. I grabbed it all last night." "What about the house?" "It's a rental. Lease is in both names, but I already texted the landlord at 6 this morning. Told him I'm off the lease effective immediately and she'll be handling it solo going forward." "He cool with that?" "He said as long as the rent gets paid, he doesn't care. I'm still liable until the lease ends in August, but that's 3 months away. I'll deal with it if she bails." My phone buzzed. Finally. 17 missed calls, 23 text messages. I opened the messages but didn't read them carefully. Just scrolled through to see the progression. Confusion at 3:28 when she got home. Anger by 4:15. Panic by 5:30. Bargaining by 6:45. The most recent one, sent 12 minutes ago. "We need to talk. This is childish. You can't just leave without discussing things like adults." I showed it to Wesley. He actually laughed. "That's rich. She tells you to leave, you leave, and now you're the childish one." That's usually how it works. I didn't respond to any of the messages. Instead, I got dressed and headed to the bank. The account separation took 40 minutes. The bank manager, this older guy named Richard, could tell something was up but kept it professional. I moved everything except $200 into a new account at a different bank across town. Left just enough in the joint account to cover my half of this month's rent, which was already paid anyway. "You'll want to remove your name from any joint credit cards too," Richard suggested quietly. "Already planning on it." From the bank, I drove to Cross & Associates, the law firm Sienna had used. Her lawyer had been tough, fair, and efficient. Exactly what I needed. The receptionist got me in to see someone that same morning. A woman named Diana Holland. Mid-40s, sharp eyes, no-nonsense demeanor. "Tell me everything," she said, pen ready. I laid it out. 6 years of marriage. No kids, thank God. No joint property except furniture and household items I didn't want. Vehicle titles were separate. No significant shared debt except the joint credit card I was about to remove myself from. The house was a rental I was getting off the lease. "That makes things cleaner," Diana said, making notes. "Any infidelity?" "Emotionally, yes. Physically, I don't know for certain and honestly don't care to find out." Fair enough. Virginia is a no-fault state anyway, so it doesn't matter much unless you wanted to pursue it for other reasons. I don't. I just want out. Clean, fast, fair. Diana smiled. My favorite kind of client. The ones who want to move on, not get revenge. Oh, I got my revenge already. I took her advice and left. She actually laughed at that. "I'm going to enjoy this case. Give me 3 days to draft everything. In Virginia, you need to be separated for a year before the divorce is final if there's no agreement, or 6 months if both parties consent." She won't consent. They never do at first, but they usually come around when they realize fighting costs money. Diana closed her folder. "One more thing. Don't engage. She's going to try every trick to get you to respond, to meet up, to talk. Don't. Everything goes through me from now on." "Understood." I left her office feeling even better than I had that morning. This was actually happening. No turning back now. My phone rang. Her number. I declined the call. It rang again immediately. Declined again. Then a text. Your brother gave me Wesley's address. I'm coming over. I called Wesley. Change of plans. I'm staying at Jack's tonight. She's figured out where you live. Want me to tell her to leave if she shows up? Just don't answer the door. She'll get the message eventually. I drove to Jack's place across town. He worked from home as a software contractor, so he was there when I arrived. Moving in? He asked, seeing my suitcase. Just for tonight. She tracked me to Wesley's. Persistent. Desperate. Jack's apartment was smaller but comfortable. He set me up in his spare room, which was really just an office with a futon. You seem okay, he observed. Calmer than I expected. I made the decision weeks ago, honestly. Last night was just the execution. Weeks ago? I sat down on the futon. Yeah. About a month back, she stayed out until 4 in the morning on a work night. Came home, didn't apologize, didn't explain, just went to sleep like it was completely normal. That's when I knew that I'd already lost her. Maybe I never really had her. Either way, I was done pretending. Jack grabbed 2 beers from his fridge and handed me one. To new beginnings. To self-respect, I countered. We clinked bottles. My phone buzzed again. This time, it wasn't her. It was her sister, Holly. Don't answer, Jack said. Wasn't planning on it. But I read the message. What did you do? She's absolutely losing it. Call me. I blocked the number. Then I went through my contacts and blocked her parents, her sister, her brother, and 3 of her closest friends, who I knew would try to run interference. Scorched earth? Jack asked. Clean boundaries, I corrected. They chose their side the moment they reached out on her behalf instead of asking what happened. My phone finally went quiet. I spent the rest of the day setting up my new normal. Changed my address with the post office, updated my emergency contacts at work, removed her from my health insurance beneficiary list, canceled the joint credit card. Each task felt like cutting another thread that tied me to a life I didn't want anymore. By evening, my phone had 38 missed calls and over 60 messages from various numbers. I didn't read a single one. Wesley texted. She showed up, banged on the door for 20 minutes. Neighbors almost called the cops. She finally left. Me. Sorry about that. Wesley. Don't be. Dinner tomorrow? You can fill me in on everything. Me. Sounds good. I fell asleep that night on Jack's futon. Phone on silent. Wedding ring sitting in a drawer somewhere at Wesley's house. And my future finally feeling like my own again. Tomorrow I'd start looking at houses to buy. Small ones, affordable ones, mine. 3 days after I left, she finally got smart and showed up at my work. I saw her car in the parking lot when I arrived that morning. She was waiting by the entrance to the building where I worked as a project coordinator for a construction supply company. Not glamorous, but steady pay and decent benefits. She looked terrible. Hair unwashed, eyes puffy, wearing sweatpants and one of my old college hoodies that I'd left behind. Part of me felt bad, a very small part. The rest of me remembered how she'd looked 3 nights ago in that black dress, heading out the door without a second thought. I walked right past her. Wait, she called out. Please, just 5 minutes. I kept walking. The security guard, Charlotte, was at the desk. I'd already given her a heads up this might happen. Sir, Charlotte said loudly enough for everyone to hear, is this person bothering you? Yes, I said simply. Ma'am, you need to leave the premises immediately or I'll call the police. Are you serious right now? My wife's voice cracked. I just want to talk to my husband. He's asked you to leave. That means you're trespassing. I didn't look back, just kept walking to the elevator. I heard her start crying behind me, but I pressed the button and waited. The doors opened. I stepped inside. As they closed, I saw Charlotte firmly directing her toward the exit. My boss, Eleanor, stopped by my desk an hour later. Everything okay? Charlotte mentioned an incident. Personal situation. It's handled. Need any time off? No, ma'am. I'm good. She studied me for a moment. Eleanor had been through her own divorce a few years back. She understood. Okay, but if that changes, let me know. Will do. I buried myself in work. It helped. Spreadsheets, supply orders, contractor schedules, normal problems with normal solutions. At lunch, my phone rang from a number I didn't recognize. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. This is Aaron. The voice was tense, uncomfortable. I said nothing. Look, man, I just wanted to say I had no idea things were that bad between you two. She told me you guys were basically roommates at this point, that you'd agreed to see other people. She lied. Yeah, I'm figuring that out. He paused. For what it's worth, nothing physical happened. We just talked and hung out. Don't care. Right. Well, I'm backing off. This is too messy. I don't need this kind of drama. Smart choice. He hung up. So that was that. The best friend had disappeared the second things got complicated. Exactly like I'd expected. These guys never stick around when the fantasy becomes reality. They want the excitement of the emotional affair, not the aftermath. That evening, I met Wesley for dinner at a sports bar near his place. We grabbed a booth in the back. She came by again today, Wesley said. Different approach this time. Calm, sad. Asked if I'd just tell her where you were staying. What did you say? That I promised not to. She tried the whole friendship angle. How long we've known each other. How I should care about both of you. I took a drink. And? I told her I do care about both of you. That's why I'm respecting your boundaries and keeping my word. Wesley grinned. She didn't like that much. Her little boyfriend bail yet? Called me today. Gave me the whole innocent speech, then said it was too messy and he's out. Wesley laughed. Classic. These dudes are all the same. Big talk until there are consequences. My phone buzzed. Another unknown number. I showed Wesley. That's like the 10th different number she's tried you from, he said. 12th, actually. You going to get a new number? Already ordered a new SIM card. Should arrive tomorrow. The message read, I know you're angry. I know I messed up. But we took vows. For better or worse. You can't just quit when things get hard. I showed it to Wesley. That's some selective memory right there, he said. Pretty sure those vows also mentioned something about forsaking all others. I typed back. You told me to leave if I didn't like your life. I left. Enjoy your life. Then I blocked that number too. Cold, Wesley said, but he was smiling. Factual. We watched the game for a while. It felt normal. Good. Like I was returning to who I used to be before everything got complicated. You hear from Jack today? Wesley asked. Yeah. He said her mom called his house phone somehow. Started yelling about how I abandoned her daughter. What did he say? Hung up, then unplugged the phone. Wesley raised his glass. Your family's got your back. Always have. Around 9, my work email pinged. It was from Diana Holland, my lawyer. Separation agreement drafted, reviewed, and ready for your approval. She's been served with initial paperwork today. Expect escalation. Expect escalation. That was putting it mildly. Sure enough, by the time I got back to Jack's apartment at 10:30, I had 42 new messages from various numbers. I didn't read them, just kept blocking. Jack was already asleep, so I tried to be quiet. Grabbed a shower, brushed my teeth, settled into the futon. My old phone, the one I was about to retire, buzzed one more time. It was her, from yet another number. I'm pregnant. I stared at the message for a long time. Then I did the math. We hadn't been intimate in almost 2 months. She'd been on birth control for years. And even if by some miracle it was true, the timing didn't add up. I screenshot the message and forwarded it to Diana with a note. Document this. It's false, but she's desperate. Diana responded within minutes. Already noted. This is a common tactic. Don't engage. I blocked the number and finally plugged in my new SIM card. New number, new chapter. I sent it only to the people who mattered. Jack, Wesley, my parents, Eleanor at work, Diana. That was it. I fell asleep wondering how long she'd keep trying before she finally accepted that I meant what I said. That I was actually gone. That the man who would have fought for her, who would have done anything to save the marriage, who would have bent over backwards to make her happy, that man had died the moment she told me to leave if I didn't like her life. And in his place was someone who finally understood that you can't love someone into respecting you. You can only respect yourself enough to walk away. The pregnancy lie lasted exactly 48 hours. Diana called me Tuesday afternoon. She's already backtracking on the pregnancy claim. Her lawyer reached out saying she was emotional and mistaken. They want to discuss terms. No discussion. Standard separation. Split what little joint assets we have 50-50. I keep my truck. She keeps her car. Everything else can be divided or sold. I don't care. You're making this very easy for me. That's the goal. But she wasn't done trying. Thursday evening, I was looking at houses online when Jack came into the living room with a strange expression. Your in-laws are outside. I looked up. Here? Yep, both of them. Sitting in their car. I walked to the window. Sure enough, there was her father's sedan parked across the street. I could see 2 figures inside. What do you want to do? Jack asked. Nothing. They can sit there all night if they want. And they did. For 3 hours. Just sitting there in the dark. Waiting for what? I don't know. For me to come out and have some tearful reconciliation conversation. To yell at them. To apologize. Around 10, they finally left. Jack shook his head. That was weird. That was desperation. Friday morning at work, Eleanor called me into her office. I need to tell you something, and I'm not happy about it. My stomach dropped. What's up? Your wife called our main line yesterday. Told the receptionist she needed to reach you urgently for a family emergency. When pressed, she admitted there was no emergency. She just wanted to talk to you. I'm sorry, Eleanor held up her hand. I'm not telling you this to reprimand you. I'm telling you because I've instructed our entire front desk staff that calls from her are not to be transferred. Period. I've dealt with this situation before from the other side. I know how ugly it gets. Thank you. But I need to know this isn't going to affect your work. It won't. I'm handling it. Good. Because you're actually one of my most reliable people. I'd hate to lose that. I went back to my desk feeling lighter. Having Eleanor in my corner mattered more than I'd expected. At lunch, I drove to a property across town. Small two-bedroom house in an older neighborhood. Nothing fancy, but the price was right, and it had good bones. The kind of place I could actually afford on my salary. The agent, a guy named Leonard Best, met me at the door. First-time buyer? Second, but first-time solo. He got it immediately. Didn't ask questions, just showed me around. The house needed work, paint, new flooring in the kitchen, updated fixtures. But it was structurally sound. Roof was only 3 years old. Furnace worked fine. "I'll put in an offer," I said. "You sure? You've only seen one place." "I'm sure." That evening, Wesley invited me to his gym. I hadn't worked out properly in months. Too tired, too stressed, too busy dealing with everything else. The gym felt good. Lifting weights, running on the treadmill, just existing in a space where none of the drama could reach me. Afterward, in the parking lot, Wesley brought up something I'd been avoiding. "You haven't actually told me how you're feeling about all this." I leaned against my truck. Honestly, relieved, not sad. I was sad months ago when I realized she'd already checked out. When I understood that the woman I married wasn't the woman living in that house anymore. By the time I left, I'd already grieved. Wesley nodded slowly. "That makes sense. The only thing I regret is not doing it sooner. I wasted 6 months trying to fix something she'd already broken." My phone buzzed. New number, but I recognized the area code. Her parents again. The voicemail came through a minute later. Her father's voice, stern and disappointed. "I thought I raised you better than this. Walking out on your wife without even trying to work things out. Your parents would be ashamed." I deleted it without finishing. "They getting nasty?" Wesley asked. "Starting to." "Your actual parents know what's going on?" "Yeah. I called them Sunday. Told them everything. They said they'd been worried something was wrong for a while. That she'd seemed distant at family gatherings." "What did they say about you leaving?" "My dad said, 'Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is admit something isn't working and walk away with your dignity intact.'" Wesley smiled. "Smart man. He's been married to my mom for 34 years. He knows what a good marriage looks like and what it doesn't look like." Saturday morning, I moved my stuff from Jack's apartment to Wesley's spare bedroom. More permanent arrangement until the house closed. If it closed, Diana called while I was unpacking. Good news and bad news. Good news first. "Your offer on the house was accepted. Inspection is scheduled for Tuesday." And the bad news. She's contesting the separation terms. Wants spousal support. I actually laughed. "On what grounds? We both work. She makes more than I do." "She's claiming she sacrificed career opportunities to support your marriage." "That's complete fiction." "I know. Her lawyer knows. But she's grasping at straws. We'll shut it down easily." "How long does this drag things out?" "Maybe a month. 2 at most. She doesn't have a leg to stand on." After I hung up, Wesley asked, "Spousal support?" "She's trying." That's genuinely insane. That's genuinely desperate. Sunday, I did something I hadn't done in months. I went to church. Not because I was particularly religious, but because it was something I used to do before everything fell apart. Before I started skipping to avoid the questions, the concerned looks, the awkwardness of showing up alone while she slept off another late night. The pastor's sermon was about letting go of what weighs you down, about trusting that closing one door allows another to open. I'm not saying it was divine intervention, but the timing was pretty good. After service, an older couple I'd known for years stopped me. "We haven't seen you in a while," the wife said. "I've been dealing with some things." "We heard." "Small community." She touched my arm gently. "Sometimes the hardest decisions are the right ones." I wasn't expecting that. I'd braced myself for judgment. "Thank you. You take care of yourself. You deserve happiness." Walking to my truck, I realized something. The people who actually knew me, who'd watched my marriage from the outside, they weren't surprised. They'd seen what I tried so hard to deny, that it was already over long before I admitted it. That evening, sitting in Wesley's living room watching a game neither of us really cared about, my new phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. "Is this the coward who abandoned his wife?" A man's voice, aggressive. "Who is this?" "Aaron's brother. You got a problem with him. You deal with him like a man. You don't run away like—" I hung up. Wesley raised an eyebrow. "Problem?" "Aaron's brother, apparently. The guy already bailed on her. Why is his brother calling?" "No idea. Don't care." I blocked the number and turned off my phone. Tomorrow was Monday. Back to work. Back to normal. Back to building a life that was actually mine. The old me would have engaged, would have defended myself, would have tried to make everyone understand. The new me knew better. You can't argue with people who've already decided you're wrong. You just live your life and let your actions speak for themselves. Week 3 brought the confrontation I'd been expecting. My parents were having their monthly family dinner, something they'd done for years. Everyone knew about the separation by now, but Mom insisted life goes on and family still gathers. I arrived early to help set up. Jack was already there with his girlfriend, my sister and her husband. Normal Sunday evening. Then the doorbell rang at 6:15. Mom opened the door, and there she stood. My wife. Her sister Holly right behind her. "I'm sorry to just show up," she said, voice shaking, "but he won't return my calls, and we need to talk." My dad appeared in the doorway. "This isn't the place. Please, I just need 5 minutes. That's all." Mom looked at me. I shook my head. "I think you should leave," Mom said gently but firmly. "Mrs. Parker, please. I love your son. I made mistakes, but we can fix this." I walked to the door. Everyone went quiet. She looked at me with those red, swollen eyes. Desperate, broken. "You told me to leave if I didn't like how you lived your life," I said calmly. I left. There's nothing to fix. "I didn't mean it like that. I was angry. I said something stupid." "No, you said something honest. Maybe the most honest thing you'd said in months." Holly stepped forward. "You're being cruel. She's trying. She's trying now." Where was this effort when I asked her to stop going out every weekend? When I asked her to set boundaries with Aaron? When I begged her to go to counseling? Silence. That's what I thought. I looked at my wife one last time. You had a husband who would have done anything for you, who stayed faithful, who tried. You threw that away. Don't come crying now that Aaron bailed and you're alone. Her face crumpled. Holly grabbed her arm. "We're leaving," Dad said. Not a suggestion. They left. Mom closed the door. The dinner was quiet at first. Then my sister broke the tension. Well, that was intense. "Had to be said," Jack offered. Dad sat down heavily. "You handled that better than I would have at your age." "I've had practice." We ate. We talked about other things, Normal things. Work, weather, Jack's upcoming vacation. Around 9, after everyone left, Mom pulled me aside. "You okay?" "Yeah, actually, I am." She looked destroyed. She destroyed herself. I just stopped trying to save her from the consequences. Mom hugged me. "I'm proud of you. That took strength." Tuesday, the house inspection came back clean. Minor issues, nothing major. I signed the purchase agreement that afternoon. Wednesday, Diana called. She's dropped the spousal support claim, accepting the separation terms as written. What changed? My guess? Reality set in. Fighting costs money she doesn't have. Erin's gone. Her support system is realizing she's not the victim she claimed to be. So we're done? Not quite. Still need to finalize everything. But the hard part's over. 6 months and you're officially divorced. 6 months felt like forever and no time at all. Friday evening, I got the keys to my house. Small, quiet, empty, mine. Wesley helped me move in the few things I owned. Took about 2 hours. Not much stuff for 6 years of marriage, he observed. Didn't need much, just needed what was mine. That night, I slept on an air mattress in an empty bedroom of a house I'd bought by myself. No furniture yet, no TV, just boxes and space and silence. It was perfect. My phone buzzed once. Her number. I'd unblocked it briefly to see if she'd reach out. The message was simple. "I hope you're happy." I typed back, "I'm getting there." Then I blocked her again. For good this time. Because I was getting there. Slowly, deliberately, one day at a time, without her. 6 months passed faster than I expected. The house filled up slowly. Furniture from thrift stores, a decent couch from Wesley's cousin, kitchen table I built myself. Nothing fancy, just functional. And mine. Work promoted me to senior coordinator. Eleanor said I'd earned it. I think she just appreciated that I showed up every day and did the job without drama. The divorce papers arrived on a Tuesday in October. Simple manila envelope, official stamps, final decree. I opened it at my kitchen table with coffee I'd made in the machine I bought myself. Read through the legal language that officially ended 6 years of marriage. Then I filed it in a drawer and went to work. No celebration, no anger, just closure. That weekend, Jack and Wesley came over for the first dinner party in my new place. Nothing elaborate. Burgers on the grill I'd picked up. Beer. Football on the TV I'd finally bought. "How's it feel?" Jack asked. "Being officially single again?" "Feels like I've been single for 7 months. The paperwork just made it official." Wesley raised his beer. "To new chapters." "To self-respect," I countered. Same toast as before. Still true. We ate, we laughed, we watched the game. Around 8, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. I almost didn't check it, but I did. It was her, from a number I didn't recognize. I heard it's final. I just wanted to say I'm sorry for everything. You deserved better. I stared at the message for a long time. Then I typed back, "I know. That's why I left." I blocked the number and set my phone down. Jack noticed. "Her?" "Yep." "You okay?" "Yeah, I'm good." And I was. For the first time in years, I was actually good. Not perfect, not healed completely, but good. I had a house, a job I liked, friends who had my back, family who understood, space to breathe, room to grow. I'd learned something important through all of this. You can't make someone respect you. You can't love someone into treating you right. You can't fix a relationship where Only one person is trying. But you can respect yourself enough to walk away. You can recognize when you're worth more than what you're being given. You can choose yourself. That Friday night, she told me to leave if I didn't like her life. She thought she was calling my bluff. She thought I'd never actually do it. That I'd bend, that I'd break, that I'd beg. Instead, I took her advice. I left, and I built something better. Not with her, despite her, because of me. The divorce was final. The chapter was closed, the door was locked, and I was finally free. Our story has come to an end. If you've made it this far, how about subscribing to our channel? It helps us immensely. I've selected 2 other videos for you that I'm sure you'll enjoy. Feel free to click on them. I'll be waiting for you in the next story. See you soon.